Leadfoot. I just want to quickly run through to you our presentation. We've had to present this with a functional website. We've also designed a more advanced website, which we plan to use funding to build post-hackathon. We went through 2 front-end designers. One guy actually ran off with some money that we gave him. The second guy, couldn't do the job that we requested. So we decided just to get stuck into it ourselves. Spent a lot of time learning how to use Adobe XD to design the front end and then run it through Anima to have a working prototype that we will eventually be able to send through to a front-end web dev and back-end web dev to essentially link up all the functionality with our smart contracts that you will see later in the presentation, presented by Merck, who is our smart contract dev and 50% of the project. So yeah, just a quick presentation. I'll go through this. So I've essentially got 3 artboards here, and that's responsive web design. We have the web design for the phone here, which is super nice, which will obviously be coming later on in time. You can essentially set all these different functions, but I'll slowly go through it with you now with the web design. So essentially, what is UP.TURN? You can click into there, and essentially gives you a bit of description about UP.TURN and the DApp. Exactly what we're trying to achieve here, what problems we're trying to solve, who's using it in terms of the users and the artists. The problem it's solving, why we're using it, why we're building this infrastructure. So yeah, we can go back to the main, or we can head over to our artist token page. Our artist token page essentially just shows the concept, lets you know exactly what's underwriting our tokens. The artist token is essentially a index, so a financial instrument that allows an artist to index their entire digital asset collection and catalog for fans to buy into. Instead of buying an individual digital asset, like in our digital asset page, instead of the user actually buying one individual piece, they can buy this token, which essentially is rewarded by a share of each of these digital asset sales. So in here you can essentially set your allocation. I've got a big volume knob and a snake game to show you that we're 100% full, 75%, 50, 25. For this example, we've set it for 1,000 artist token allocation. And then we have, a lot of the details down here, which essentially says the issuer retains 50% of artist tokens, 50% of the upsells 50% to the public, and each user will be allocated a certain number, which is 1,000 at this stage. Total tokens 100,000, circulating supply 50,000. The rights to in this example will share 50% with the artist and the issuer. So essentially when a digital asset is sold for 100 licks, 50% goes directly to the rights holders. So 25% to the artist, 5% to the public. That's the initial distribution. So that's of the total 100 licks, 25 licks goes to the artist, 25% goes to the rights holders or the public. And then the other 50% goes into a locked liquidity pool for the asset here, the artist token. And this is like a vested investment. So essentially, once the money comes into the liquidity pool, it's locked for 12 to 24 months, depending on what the artist sets it at. So essentially, that's providing every single month you'll get an allocation of the licks. That's so the artist can essentially have a steady income as well as the rights holders. It sort of helps to stabilize the price of this token, so there's no initial dump or pumping of it. Maybe when transaction levels are high here, people might start selling the token, and you sort of want people to be able to hold the token a little bit, so it sort of just kills that volatility a little bit. So that's the caveat of using this system and infrastructure. That's what we want to build in there, so it kind of allows for the longevity of the system. Going to digital assets. So these are the digital assets that we're selling at the moment. I've used my Leadfoot merchandise as an example. So all these are already available on my Universal profile with these stock numbers. They're all live and updated. So essentially, buying into these will trigger the smart contract. As Merck will go through later, exactly how those smart contracts work. We also have an extended video which will go into even further depth individually on how the smart contracts will work. But essentially, these are our digital assets. This is a super low functionality site. It's our alpha site that we want to build just to test the working concept and sort of allow people to easily get through the idea of these digital assets and the artist token that these digital assets are backing. The reason we've sort of done this is because in the NFT space or in the token space specifically, a lot of these tokens don't actually have any intrinsic value backing them. A lot of it is based on speculation. So obviously the advent of digital assets and NFTs and the future value prospect of them should be quite large, and that's essentially what we're all building here. Obviously dematerialized, using their digital fashion work. And you can probably see that yeah, over time, these pieces are going to become like intrinsically valued because they'll be used in gaming and metaverse situations. So yeah, our digital assets that we're showing you now are all merchandise, but they could be anything from music to tickets to videos to artwork, anything that an artist wants to provide. This artist token is kind of like a social token. We essentially want to, at some stage, build this out so an individual who buys a lot of these digital assets can essentially tokenize their own universal profile and sell and kind of index their own catalog. So essentially have their own artist token or social token that people can buy into that essentially represents a share in the rights of their digital assets. So it's a financial instrument that allows indexing of a catalog. We have a marketplace that's coming very soon. It's not fully finished yet, but the smart contracts are. So we want to include this functionality of the marketplace. Obviously, the universal profiles are going to include selling from universal profiles and minting NFTs directly from the universal profile. We want to work this into our marketplace so we can sort of catalog the digital assets that we're going to be selling. Tokenomics is coming as well, or not tokenomics, but economics of our infrastructure is coming as well. I've tried to give you a good example in the artist token section, but I'll be providing visuals just to allow people to get like a more visual aspect from the concept. So yeah, that's a lot of information there. This is our UX. It took ages to make and it was a lot of fun. I hope you like it. Yeah, I'm going to pass you on to Merck, who's going to explain the smart contracts and exactly the ins and outs of how they work.
Hello, this is smart contracts. I'm going to quickly run through it. So basically, this is a sale contract. We have the actual sale information. When we have a token, so we have an LSP7, which is this token here. We have a create exchange. So then we can create exchange because basically the token, there will be from NFT sales and token sales provide locked liquidity. But anyways, so we create the sale, we set up that information here. And then we have a buy function here. We have a buy function which essentially does that. Pretty easy, but basically we have the check saves. We buy the token, we check if we have any tokens left for sale. If we don't have any tokens left for sale, we send the liquidity out. We also have a Rico functionality in here, so then we can set to basically the artist can claim per intervals, but as well people can return tokens. So if people can return tokens, then they can be more secure about the investment. Basically here we can stake, users can stake the tokens. So if users can stake the tokens, they can get royalties off from the marketplace for the artist. So this is really cool. And we have some security here, and then we also just check if we can claim. Easy done. Here's the exchange. So we can here we can go from token to native and native to token. Native is obviously a LUKSO token. But we also have we can do lock liquidity and unlock liquidity. And with this unlock function, basically this allows the contracts to send it in, and those contracts only allow to unlock the liquidity, but people can do that too. We have a marketplace here. Marketplace has delete, buy, change, listing, and list events, and they've got all the events here. So then basically that can quickly be done. And then we have the just a normal artist token here with a mint function, so that's an LSP8. We have a create sale. Basically here, the contract deployer allows certain addresses to create sales, and if they can do that, then they can create a sale. It says information here, similar to the artist token sale, information for the sale, easy done. We can stop and start the sale. We can also mint the NFTs. Obviously the people that buy the NFTs mint the NFTs, and then easy done. That's quickly run down the smart contracts. Thank you for listening.